So I'm here with Adwoa Danso, who is NHS GP, and Nina Bobie, a pharmacist. So we are going to
Hi, Nina.
Hello, Adwoa. Yeah.
We're talking about women's health. I know we've got a lot going on, but women's health is still important to talk about. And the reason why I wanted to talk about is because a lot of women are experiencing symptoms that they do not talk about because they are either embarrassed or scared, or they just don't want to know. So they just sweep it under the carpet. So I thought this is something that we can talk about so that people can come out and talk when they have any issues or health problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true with what you say. You know, that I think it's also like a cultural thing. Black women especially can kind of just endure the most horrendous symptoms because of either fear or just not having the information that it's not normal, for example, to have horrible, heavy, painful periods where you're missing school, uni, and not able to look after your children. So, people just kind of grin and bear it because perhaps they've seen their mums, their grandmas do the same. So I think it's important and a great way to kind of inform others.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the Black society, it is a problem that I think we normally suffer from as well. But it's kind of like a shame to talk about, you're not strong enough if you're having period pains and stuff like that. So we don't really speak about it, and you don't get the help you need if you don't speak about it. So I'm kind of glad we're doing this today.
Yeah, do you know what? One time I told someone, I've got period pains, and the person's response was, Serena Williams can play tennis while she's on her period, so why are you complaining? I'm like, really?
Yeah, you hear that a lot. People are like, "Oh, I've got really bad period pains," and you think, I mean, the fact that you're at work and you're, some people's period pains just won't even allow for them to
get out of bed. Yeah,
exactly.
So, I wanted to talk a little briefly about mental health. When does one realize that they are struggling with mental issue?
I think that's an important question, really, because it's so varied for different people, and it's not something that people talk about and people would be aware. But I think generally it can be very subtle, and it can be a gradual process. So I always say, if you start to, there's like a few key things that everybody does in order to function. So eating, sleeping, sex, and kind of like your support network. So if any of those things change, so for example, if your appetite changes, so if you're overindulging in foods for like comfort, or if you are not eating, or if you're sleeping too much and kind of like going to your bed to kind of get away from whatever it is, that's also a kind of a very sensitive sign. And also if you're early morning waking is a classic sign. So you go to sleep and then you wake up very early and you just can't get back to bed because often you're ruminating, you're thinking about whatever it is that's worrying you. So that's a sign. And sex as well. So if you lose interest in sex or lose interest in things that you have previously enjoyed, like I don't know, hobbies. So if you enjoyed going and meeting your friends and now you're all of a sudden you're thinking of every other excuse to not see them, these are all quite sensitive markers of something more is going on as well.
So Nina, do you get anyone coming to you talking about mental health, being a pharmacist?
All the time. Oh, sorry, you said Nina. Sorry.
During this period, I think more so anxiety. And actually say it's anxiety, they just describe the symptoms of anxiety. So as Adwoa said, they can't sleep, or they feel their heart is beating faster than usual. They're nervous, they don't know why. And in these times more so, people are facing financial difficulties, they're facing uncertainty, they're not around their loved ones and things like that. So these feelings do arise, and they won't say anxiety as such. And when you do say anxiety, they'll deny it. No, I'm not anxious. No, but these are the symptoms of anxiety. And you don't have to take medication straight away. There's always different things you can do. So now most people have more time on their hands, so they're thinking more. They're overthinking in some cases. So find a new hobby, speak to people, check in with people. These things take your mind off it, and it might help you overcome the little symptoms that you're finding. Anxiety also can, if it isn't resolved, can lead on to depression, like minor depression and things like that. So you need to nip it in the bud when it starts.
Because I think sometimes people find it hard to seek help due to the stigma that comes with it, like going to see a therapist, especially in an African community. When you go and see a therapist, they think they use the term mad, or So
I think go on. Sorry.
Go on.
I was gonna say therapy is a good way. I mean, talking is just therapy, isn't it? Talking to your friend or a trusted friend can be therapy. But if you don't have that network around you, you can pay for someone to talk to you or talk you through certain situations. So and that, I think that's definitely helpful.
Yeah. Adwoa, do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, I would say that often people are nervous about or anxious about getting help because of a fear of what may happen. So I've seen people that were scared to come and see me because they thought, the moment they say they have anxiety, someone's going to take their children away, or someone's going to tell their work, or they're going to be on medication for life, or it's going to go on their medical records, but and have implications. But I think it's important that you people talk about their own experiences, and I talk about my own experience with therapy and having anxiety. And I think people realize, okay, well, there's people that look like me that have had very similar symptoms, but because many people don't talk about it, it's kind of highly stigmatized. But I always try, especially mothers, first time mums, or there's so much going on that happens in the first few months, the first few years, particularly within the Black community. And one of the biggest reasons why people don't seek help, and postnatal depression is very common, is that they think someone is going to report them to social services, that they're not caring for their children. And it's definitely not that at all. The fact that someone is coming to seek help is a very positive sign that they're addressing that something isn't quite right. And it doesn't that's completely false anyway. So that should stop people from being worried about that.
And sometimes when someone is always happy and bubbly, I seem to think that they are the ones that are struggling the most, just that they don't show it. So they need to be checked on all the time.